Hey guys, what's happening? Sorry, not a good way to start a video. I'm Jesse P, and you are at Tiny Whip headquarters here in Loveland, Colorado. If you're watching this video, it's because you found the note I put in your box and clicked the link or whatever. I'm making it because I wanted to say thank you for being one of the first people to try the new Tiny Whip Nano. I love this aircraft, I loved this project, and I kind of wanted to tell you a little bit about it right away as you're probably taking it out of the box and holding it in your hand right now, in my mind, I don't know. So yeah, when people think about FPV quads, they're usually talking about one of two families or two styles of flight, and that's usually freestyle and racing. And I noticed that when I fly and when all of my friends fly, half of the time people aren't, and this isn't just Tiny Whip but also mini quads, people aren't doing racing or freestyle all the time. In fact, a lot of the time they're just flying around and exploring and weaving and messing with people or something. And that made me want to create an aircraft like this that's tiny, extremely controllable in angle mode, and it's perfect for that exact kind of exploration flight or very intricate weaving where you need tons of control. So I wanted to tell you about that. First of all, the motors are 6x15, 17,000 kV. They're almost the same as the Special Sauce, which are 17,300 kV, as opposed to these, the 17,000 kV. The reason we chose these motors as opposed to like the traditional, right now this is sort of the standard, these Awesome Sauce motors. They're what almost everybody was flying at the last two invitational events, and over half the people at the Multi-GP IO, Tiny Whip IO last year. I expect to see tons of them again this year. They're awesome for racing. They're the perfect speed for the style of racing I like and the size of race course I like, which is big and fast. But a lot of you guys that fly this motor know that if you move your throttle thumb just a tiny bit, it's a huge change in thrust because you've got to go from 0 to tons of thrust on a single stick. This goes from 0 to less than tons of thrust at the perfect place where you can easily hold an altitude while traveling forward and make really intricate adjustments to that if you're trying to get through little tiny slots. That's what these motors are tuned for. Obviously you can put on any motor you want. I've put Awesome Sauce on this thing. It's pretty fun, but for me, too much power for the style of flight that I think this thing is made for. So yeah, that's what's up with the motors. There's also like a place on the bottom, just like other frames, you can cut the little nubbin out and then insert longer motors like the 6x17mm motors. Excuse me. But yeah, I also tuned the angle mode myself for this thing. I chose all the rates and the max angle inclination and all of that stuff. So for the max angle for angle mode, I chose 55 degrees, which is pretty far for these motors. Every other quad that comes out with motors in this kind of power band would never reach an angle that steep, because when you're flying forward at full speed, if you yank the pitch stick all the way back, you're going to lose control probably if you're going too fast. You can't push a ton of air through these props unless you upgrade motors or something. And there was a couple ways I could have solved that. I could have put faster motors in here, which I wasn't willing to do because again, I like that altitude resolution. Or I could have limited the maximum angle to something more shallow, but I'm not willing to sacrifice that much control. I want to be able to do the swoops and the fast changes in a moving environment like humans walking around or something. I want all that control, and I don't mind if I know in the back of my head that when I'm moving quick, I can't just pull the stick all the way back and expect to retain the kind of control I need. So that's what's up with the max angle. I made it so pitch and roll are linear. There's no expo on pitch and roll because, like I say, this thing is tuned for angle mode. And when you're in angle mode, if you've got expo applied, if you're leaning forward, you're already a little bit outside of the area on the stick with the most control, and you're getting into the area on the stick where there's zero control, or very little resolution rather, at the end of your pitch and roll stick. So I eliminated the expo on pitch and roll and just put a little bit into yaw. I also slowed the yaw down just a little bit, especially compared to brushless. This thing can yaw like crazy, like a blur. But this has a yaw that is more tuned for control. Again, you can make these little tiny adjustments and fit through really narrow slots. And when you do, you know, I said in the promo video that it makes the world feel larger, and that's true. And this is the kind of experience it comes out in. When you start to realize that with some practice, you can have tons of control and move through really tight areas, and you know, objects just feel like they're peeling next to you, like right against your eye. That's the experience that makes the world start to feel larger, and to have enough control to experience that is really what this aircraft is all about. Obviously it can race, it can also freestyle, it can dive, it might need different motors for those things, or props possibly, but it's made right now in its stock condition to be an extremely controllable exploration vehicle that's perfect for tree weaving, or like I say, making your place feel gigantic, making it feel even bigger than a Tiny Whip did in the first place. One thing I wanted to mention is I'm nervous about the canopy, you guys. I feel like the canopy is too brittle. I broke a canopy 3 days ago when I shouldn't have, and I've broken canopies before, and for me it's just a bit too brittle, and that's why we gave everybody a free canopy in their box. So if you didn't get a free canopy, reach out to me and I will get you one, but there should be 2 canopies in your box. And I know that doesn't solve the problem, you guys. Just like everything at tinywhip.com, this is guaranteed. And if you make a purchase from my website, you're guaranteed to be happy when all is said and done. I've got no problem being in touch with you personally. We got 2 guys on staff that are awesome, super friendly, experts that can also help you. But yeah, just reach out to me if you have any issues with this thing whatsoever, or anything from tinywhip.com. Shoot me an email at orders@tinywhip.com or support@tinywhip.com. I'll be happy to help with anything and make sure you're happy when all's said and done. What else was I going to say? Oh, one more thing. I noticed that this has a genuine FR Sky receiver in it. It's not a knockoff or a clone or a fake or anything. It's the real deal. But there's times when I'm firing this thing up and it doesn't connect to the radio initially. Most of the time you turn your transmitter on, then you turn this thing on and it's ready to fly. But if it won't arm, have a look at it, and you'll notice that it's probably got three blinks instead of 2 shorter blinks. You just need to repower, you just need to repower the quad a little further away from your transmitter, and that's going to solve your problem for sure. I can't remember what else I was going to say, you guys. You're going to love this thing. It was a hell of a project, you know. I love working with TBS. It was so cool to go to Hong Kong and see these rooms full of experts working there, these engineers doing tons and tons of groundbreaking projects. TBS does quality stuff. They did a great job on this. I feel really lucky to get to work with them. And yeah, you guys, go fly your Nano now. Thanks for clicking the video and watching through it. Be in touch, and I'll see you guys at the Multi-GP.io. Tiny Whip International Open is at the Multi-GP.io this year. It's going to be the greatest Tiny Whip party ever. We got amazing games planned. Bring your Nano. I'll see you guys in Indiana. Whoop on.
Oh yeah.